Good evening. This is middle-aged cartoonist Ken Bailey. I've got several short videos on the web, and for those of you who have been following the latest effort, I'd like to give you another installment in the creation of a brand new comic book featuring the mighty Energy Girl, my current flagship character. I'm a lifelong hobby cartoonist, meaning that's not my real job, my day job, but something I have enjoyed for almost 50 years now. This is the cover of the preceding issue, Energy Girl number 27, called Eagle's Tears. I have a friend who makes his own Native American flutes, and in learning how those function, I was persuaded to, by my cartooning love, to put them together into a story, and this was the result, a 32-page comic book which revolved around problems between the United States, one of the sovereign Indian nations within its borders, a fictional one, oil drilling, and Native American flutes, which were stolen. And as so often happens in the comic books, the mighty woman from Fairview was able to recover the flutes, but not a small removable part called the flute bird, which comes off and without which the flute cannot play. We have now begun issue number 28, which is called Eagle's Claws and is the sequel to Eagle's Tears. You can be assured that by the end of this issue, E.G. will have the flute birds back, but not without quite a struggle. That's half the fun. We've mentioned that cartooning a comic book involves both creative writing and creative drawing, and so it's twice as much fun. You create your own characters, and then you tell stories around them, and then you sit and watch them appear on paper in front of you. Anyway, there's been a couple of videos posted of my completed comic books, but this is one that is actually in the very early stages of being created, and I just thought we'd do once a week or so give a sneak preview of how things are coming. Unlike sometimes, we are not starting in the middle or at the beginning. We're going straight to the end. The person who commissioned this book has been very eager to see the exciting ending since early in the previous book. I disappointed him by leaving it a cliffhanger, but promised him that with the sequel we'd go straight to the ending. So even though the pictures are not complete yet, what we are going to see here is Energy Girl and the sharpshooter secret agent from the Choctaw Nation, Nick Surefoot, finding themselves on one end of a 30-foot chasm where the nefarious Lester Howard, my apologies to any of you who really bear that name, is on the other chasm with the bag of flute birds in one hand and an acetylene torch or some sort of portable torch in the other hand, and he is about to torch the flutes. And Nick's shooting hand, he's a sharpshooter, has been injured, and so it is up to E.G. to jump the chasm and rescue the flutes. Unfortunately, our mighty woman, while she is able to jump about 20 feet at a time, which is a lot farther than us, a 30-foot canyon is a bit of a stretch for her. So Nick is wondering if there's any hope or if they should just head back, and Energy Girl answers that since Howard is trapped across on a rock jutting out there, that he probably is going to torch the birds one way or another, so she's got nothing to lose. And as we saw last week, she then tells Nick, "You know I can only jump 20 feet. I know that." But the bad guy doesn't know that, and so not all the best bluffs are found in Utah. Superheroes and puns go back almost as far as superheroes and capes. Here we see, generally I will draw the most important things first, so I try to pose the character first and put the background in around her. Energy Girl is perched on the cliffside and is peering around and is trying to bluff her way by threatening to leap across and capture the flutes. Unfortunately, the evil Mr. Howard does not buy the bluff and tosses the little bag of flute birds into the air and plans almost to let them have it with a torch. Realizing her bluff is called, Energy Girl does her best and leaps into space. Unfortunately for her, and for us, she comes up short and slams into the rock wall below the evil Mr. Howard. The reason for this, we must remember, she's invulnerable, she won't be hurt, but there are limits to what she can do, and here she tried just a little too much and didn't make it. So he's just about to let go and let the flutes have it. Scrambling to regain a foothold, E.G. is trying to climb up over the rock ledge to apprehend him, but it's too late. He's already said she may have missed, but he's not going to, and he lets go with his torch. And then the old trick in the book, oh no, look out behind you. Well, what's behind me? There's nothing back there. He turns around and, ah! Or better, aye, but I didn't put it in there. And you know what's coming. Since the book is called Eagle's Claws, it's not going to be a P-42 fighter plane coming down out of the sky, but a good old American eagle. And my thanks to the wonderful fact that we have the internet. You can Google eagles and look for pictures and then make kind of a composite of what appeals to you. And so here we have it. Our lovely heroine, still climbing over the side of the ledge, is just as shocked as Mr. Howard. What he doesn't know it has been the bright red bag of birds that once it's lit on fire attracts the eagle eyes, if you'll pardon me, of the eagle that comes swooping down, grabs the birds, and he tumbles off the cliff to a very unpleasant end. The Energy Girl comic books, E.G.'s Build notwithstanding, are generally done in the 1950s, 60s style, in which the hero is all good, the villain is mostly bad, and the lines are clearly drawn, but the hero will never take a villain's life. The hero will never deliberately use her powers to abuse those weaker than herself. But villains sometimes die by their own nefarious ways. One of the great fun of being a cartoonist is you get to say words like nefarious with a straight face. There's a pretty good close-up of Nick Surefoot saying maybe nature just took care of justice on her own. We then at last see the happy for everyone but Howard, ending where we're back at the train station for the train back to Fairview, and little banter back and forth between Nick and E.G., and then comes the time to board the train. And as her train disappears into the sunset, which obviously hasn't happened yet, we will get the epilogue on how the vote of the fictional Choctaw Nation on the oil drilling came out and why. I'd like to add again that this is meant to be neutral on the oil industry. I know some people are really against it, other people are for it. We have to admit it is a part of our everyday life pretty much everywhere today, and I'm not meaning to have an agenda for or against there. I grew up in the oil field, as a matter of fact, but just to use it as a plot device. So we will now say goodbye to Energy Girl for this week. Here she is catching her friend Great Scott McKenzie, the Carney motorcycle daredevil, which is a still picture that was finished recently. And hopefully I will see you all next week with another installment of the creation of EG28. Have a good week and get out those pencils.